Was good, ballers? This is Jim's Ballin, and we're back with the Week 10 power rankings. It's crazy to think it's going to be Week 10, already halfway through the season, more than halfway, the regular season anyway. Crazy to think about, but got the power rankings for all 32 teams, and let's get into it. At number 32, we got the Patriots, and in the game for the worst team in the NFL between the Titans and the Patriots were victorious, so they won the worst team in the league award. This Patriots team honestly isn't that bad, at least compared to like the worst teams of previous seasons, like the Panthers from last year. They're obviously worse than this Patriots team, but the Patriots, they really seem like the worst team in the league. I mean, they got Drake May. I mean, he kind of seems like the guy, but he does not have the pieces around him to be successful. So hopefully the Patriots can keep losing and lock up some good draft picks that can help out Drake May. At number 31, we got the Titans. And the Titans, congratulations, you beat the Patriots, so you're not the worst team in the NFL. You're the second worst. Congratulations. But for real, this Titans team, they are not good. Going into the season, they seem like maybe they could be all right. Maybe that defense would be okay. Maybe Calvin Ridley can be pretty good. Maybe Tony Pollard can be pretty good. But just the way it's turned out, the Titans defense really isn't that good. Calvin Ridley's honestly not elite. He's not that guy. Same for Tony Pollard. He's not elite. He's not that guy. And this team is just really, really mid right now. And their quarterback situation is probably maybe the worst in the NFL, for being honest. That quarterback room is awful for the Titans, and that's the main reason why this team is bad. But overall, just this team is just really mid. That's why they're the second worst. And at number 30, we got the Browns. And Jameis Winston has come back to earth. He's still the same Jameis Winston. He's throwing picks. So the Browns are pretty much getting the Jameis Winston experience right now. I really thought this Browns team could maybe be something. Maybe they could get to the playoffs. But Deshaun Watson has been terrible. And Jameis Winston's not the guy. I don't know what the Browns do going forward. I'm glad they're not my team. I'm glad I don't have to cheer for them. But right now, Myles Garrett is just wasting away on an awful team. So, yeah, the Browns, they are not good. At number 29, we got the Panthers. And this past week, they beat the Saints. So, congratulations to them for that. Glad they can get a couple wins, get a few wins on the season. But this Panthers team still is not good. I know they beat the Saints, and they're still lower than the Saints, but I have more faith in the Saints than the Panthers, honestly. We can see maybe the Panthers can still build on this win. Maybe they can get better. Number 28, we got the Raiders. They kind of got demolished by the Bengals, and this Raiders team, they can't run the ball, and the quarterbacks are awful. They don't really have anyone to throw the ball to. And this defense really isn't as good as advertised. This Raiders team is not good. Number 27, we got the Saints. And I know they lost to the Panthers, but I mean, I still don't think they're that bad. I still think they're better than the Panthers. I mean, they still got Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara. Compare that to the people on the Panthers offense. I mean, I'd rather take the Saints team. After the hot start for the Saints, they are turning out to be kind of what I expect them to be. Not really good. Number 26, we got the New York Giants, and this Giants team, they're not good. Danny Dimes is not really that guy. He's been all right, but I don't think he's a starting caliber quarterback in the league. And this team, they lost to the Commanders. I mean, this Giants team, they're competitive, but they're not winning games. They're not scaring anybody. Number 25, we got the Jaguars. And they lost to the Eagles, and this Jaguars team this season is kind of a wash for them. Doug Peterson's probably going to be gone. And the Jaguars, I mean, they have some pieces, but they just need a lot more for their team. Maybe with retooling the roster for next year, maybe with better coaching, maybe this Jaguars team can get back to the playoffs. But this season's a wash, and this Jaguars team right now is not really good. Number 24, we got the Dolphins. And it feels weird having them this low, but right now they're 2-6, and they just have not been looking that good. With losses to the Bills and the Cardinals, and that's even with Tua back. They've been competitive. They've looked like they could have won those games, but they're just not winning games. And I just don't have any faith in this Dolphins team for the rest of the season. Number 23, we got the Colts, and they lost to the Vikings. I mean, they're still around 500. Maybe the Colts can get some wins, but I just don't have a lot of faith in Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco. I mean, they're both like opposite ends of the spectrum. Joe Flacco's just too old and can't really do that much. I mean, he's doing all right, but do we really have faith in him to win a playoff game or lead this Colts team to the playoffs? And then on the opposite end, we got Anthony Richardson, and he's just too raw. He needs more experience. I don't have faith in him leading this Colts team to the playoffs or getting a playoff win. And that's why I have this Colts team kind of low, just at 23. Then at 22, we got the Cowboys, and they lost to the Falcons. I kind of thought the Cowboys would rebound this week, get a win against the Falcons, but this season's looking over for the Cowboys, and I don't really know what they do from here. Their offense is just CeeDee Lamb, and their defense just does not look that good with Micah Parsons out. And it's just tough for the Cowboys right now. It's not going to be their season. 21, we got the Jets, and they're coming off a win against the Texans. Maybe there's some hope. Maybe they can make a push for the playoffs. I don't believe it. I don't see it. I think this Jets team can still be competitive, get some wins, maybe finish close to 500, but I don't see this team making the playoffs. At 20, we got the Seahawks, and they lost in overtime to the Rams. And after the Seahawks' hot start, a lot of people had faith in them, and I just didn't really have that much faith in them, and we've seen them lose a lot of games. Just overall, the Seahawks team is just kind of mid. And Geno Smith, I mean, he's just really a mid quarterback. He just doesn't really have what it takes to just win these clutch games, win games for the Seahawks. He's making some bad decisions, and just I don't have a lot of faith in the Seahawks team, and they'll probably finish around 500. And I don't see the Seahawks making the playoffs. Then at 19, we got the Bears, and they just got manhandled by the Cardinals, and I don't know about the Bears. I mean, they got a good defense, but I mean, I don't know about Caleb Williams. He probably still needs some more time, and this Bears team is still a little rough around the edges. They're definitely improved from last season, but I don't think they're there yet to make a playoff push. Then at number 18, we got the Broncos. They're basically the same as the Bears, with rookie quarterback who's doing all right, but just really isn't there yet, still needs more time. Both teams, the Bears and Broncos, seem improved, but they just don't really seem like they're there yet, and I don't think they'll make the playoffs. Number 17, we got the Bengals, and they beat up on the Raiders, and the Raiders aren't good, but the Bengals, I don't know, maybe they can make a push for the playoffs. They still got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I mean, things are there for them to be successful, but they just haven't been that successful this season. Maybe they can build off this win. But yeah, I got the Bengals at 17. At 16, we got the Rams, and they were able to beat the Seahawks in overtime. Little off topic, but that Rams logo is kind of butt. It's not good. But yeah, this Rams team with getting Kupp and Puka back and healthy, they've got some wins, and maybe they can make a playoff push. Number 15, we got the Bucks, and they lost in overtime to the Chiefs, but this Bucks team, even with all the injuries, still look pretty competitive. Baker Mayfield looks pretty good, and they were able to take this Chiefs team that's still undefeated into overtime, so they're still competitive. Maybe they can make a push for the playoffs, but it's looking tough for this injured Bucks team. We'll see what they can do. Number 14, we got the 49ers, and they had the bye week, so not too much to say. Maybe they can heal up, get a bit healthier, and maybe this 49ers team can turn to this team that made the Super Bowl last year. Number 13, we got the Chargers, and they were able to beat the Browns pretty easily. This Chargers team looks pretty solid with Harbaugh as coach, great defense, and they look like a really solid team. Number 12, we got the Cardinals, as they were able to just manhandle the Bears. And this Cardinals team has been pretty surprising this year. They've been getting some wins together, and they look solid, like they could be a playoff team. Kyler Murray's been pretty impressive. Marvin Harrison Jr. seems like a beast. And this Cardinals team seems pretty good. And number 11, we got the Falcons, as they were able to beat the Cowboys. This Falcons team is good, but I'm still not too sure about them. They've been getting some wins together, but they've been really close games. They've been barely scraping by. I don't have a lot of faith in this Falcons team. If the Bucks were healthy, I'd have a lot of faith in them to win the NFC South, but I don't know, with the NFC South being pretty bad, with the Bucks being injured, I think the Falcons will probably barely win the NFC South, but I have them at 11. At number 10, we got the Texans as they lost to the Jets. I still have a good amount of faith in this Texans team. Overall, offensive and defensively, they are really solid. They got CJ Stroud. And maybe with Nico Collins getting healthy, maybe this Texans team can put things together and be really strong going into the playoffs. At number 9, we got the Packers. And the Packers lost to the Lions and they look really sloppy. Maybe it was sloppy conditions because of the rain, but this Packers team did not look good against the Lions. They looked like they were really off. Maybe going to the bye week, they can get healthier and put things back together and be really strong, because I think they could be a top team in the league, but right now they just look a little sloppy and need to put things together. At number 8, we got the Vikings as they were able to beat the Colts. This Vikings team is solid. They got a great defense. They got Justin Jefferson. Sam Darnold's been doing good. Great receivers. Aaron Jones. I mean, this Vikings team is really good, but I don't know if I have a lot of faith in them going into the playoffs. I don't know if I have a lot of faith in Sam Darnold in a playoff game. But for right now, this Vikings team is really good. Number 7, we got the Steelers coming off a bye week. And right now, they're on top of the AFC North somehow, ahead of the Ravens. But yeah, the Steelers defense, I mean, if you have an elite defense, I mean, your team's going to be pretty good. Russell Wilson's been fine. Najee Harris been pretty good. So maybe the Steelers team can keep getting wins. Number 6, we got the Eagles, and they were able to beat the Jaguars. Since the beginning of this season, this Eagles team has been looking a little shaky, but as of recently, just every week, it seems like they're putting things together, looking even better. It's almost like the opposite of last season, where each week they just got worse going into the playoffs, but now it looks like they're getting better each week into the playoffs, which is what you want to do. So this Eagles team is looking pretty scary. They're looking pretty good. So I have them at number 6. Number 5, we got the Commanders as they were able to squeak by the Giants. Like I said earlier, the Giants are competitive, but they're not winning games. The Commanders, Jane Daniels, they're looking pretty good. Right now they're 7-2, and they're looking like a pretty strong team. That's why I got them at 5. Number 4, got the Ravens. So they were able to demolish the Broncos. The Ravens are 6-3, not really the best record. They got some bad losses, but I still have a lot of faith in this Ravens team. Lamar Jackson's really looking like the MVP right now, and this Ravens team is still really strong. So maybe they can keep winning games and keep this momentum going to the playoffs. At number 3, we got the Bills, as they were barely able to beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins look competitive now with Tua, but still the Dolphins team isn't the best. But this Bills team, Josh Allen's looking good. This Bills team is still really strong. They still look like a contender out of the AFC. And I honestly have just a lot of faith in this Bills team. I think they're really good. And at number 2, we got the Chiefs, as they're still undefeated, but I don't think they're the best team in the league, as they were just barely able to beat an injured Buccaneers team in overtime. Yes, we know the Chiefs. They're looking to three-peat. Yes, they're really good. They're still undefeated, but they just really haven't hit their stride. They're winning games, but they aren't winning them super convincingly. And that's why I have them at only number 2. So that means at number 1, we got the Lions. And I'm not just being a biased Lions fan. I really think this Lions team is the best in the league. I mean, yes, the Chiefs are undefeated, but we look at this last week. The Lions were able to beat the Packers on the road by double digits. They basically dominated that game, with the Packers only getting a touchdown in garbage time minutes, while the Chiefs had to take it to overtime to beat an injured Bucs squad. And over the past few weeks, the Lions have just dominated the Cowboys and the Titans and got division road wins against the Vikings and Packers. The Lions have just looked really good. They look really convincing, and I really think they're the best team in the league right now. But that'll pretty much end this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. This is Jim's Ballin' with the power rankings. Thank you.